Good morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. What's happening, guys?
What paradise. I see. I have to renegotiate my contract. Still not on the marquee there with Bo and the Philly sports guy. My agent will be calling you shortly.
Well, yes. Yeah. Once you start to get more than one day, you can get on. You can get on the marquee. Yeah, listen, we don't discriminate here. You know.
Yep. No, we hate everybody equally. So
yeah, wake up on Monday and Friday. We need guys on those days too.
That's right. That's right.
There we go.
So since we got the Browns fan in the house.
Nope.
Yep.
Not falling for that one.
Let's go. So did you get any answers or just more questions from that game? And for the viewers that didn't watch that, you had Deshaun 11 for 15, 126 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Did have a strip sack, although that doesn't fall in his stat line, but it's a fumble. And then Shador 6 of 11, 79 yards, no touchdowns, and a ugly interception because that ball just slipped out of his hand and airmailed that thing. That being said, nobody's making a clear-cut case for who should win this
job. No, I mean, I didn't get any answers or I didn't get anything other than Deshaun played okay. Shador played okay. Of course, I mean, if you're lining them up, Shador had the worst game of the two.
Yep.
He had 3 passes batted down plus the pick, plus fumble snap. Deshaun had the strip sack. I don't really put strip sacks on QB, so that's your lineman gets beat. Of course, you want the pocket awareness to be there.
That's the thing is he didn't adjust that ball, so he had the ball way out. Like he deserved to get that stripped.
Yeah, but it's if your lineman blocks better, it doesn't happen. So it's kind of you gotta take it with a grain of salt. They both threw some nice passes. They both threw at least one pass where it was like, yeah. And my stance has always been, it's going to come down to this week, the joint practice week, which we're having a joint practice with the Bills, and here we are. Deshaun has put what he's put on tape, and Shador now knows if he wants to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, he knows exactly what he has to do this week. So, it's the essence of competition. Go get it done.
So, on that same note, in the post game, Deshaun was asked if he would sign an extension. He said he would. Is that something Cleveland fans want?
I would say at least 90% no. And
can you move your microphone out a little bit?
Yeah, it's
or out.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having there's something going on that's
it sounds like something's rubbing the mic.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Let's try this. Better.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let go. There's a very fine and finite criteria it would take for Deshaun Watson to get a contract. He would essentially, we'd have to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he'd have to absolutely ball out.
Yeah. I mean, he would have to have the best year of his career to justify it.
So from the outside, that seems obvious. But we've seen Cleveland do some things. So
how long do you think it takes before Cleveland actually cleans up a little bit? I mean, I feel like that they put themselves in this situation. They understand that they put themselves in this situation. Mm-hmm. I think that when you identify the problem and you realize that you're stuck, and the owner himself is a little odd because, like I said, he could have did the whole Gabriel thing and it was fine. And then I know he went with Sanders and grabbed him personally, just about. And now that coach is gone and such like that. It makes me wonder: is he going to be the one in control of the change that's got to come? And as that's happening, is it something that you think will happen quickly, or is this something that is he just doesn't know any better, and because of that, it's going to teeter on longer than it really should?
You're talking about Barry? Should Barry be the one?
Well, he's an owner that meddles. You know what I mean?
You're talking about Haslam.
Yeah.
So it's like he's going to be doing things that go against some of the plan.
Yeah, but if you look at the last couple of years, take it this offseason, last offseason, he's actually looked like he's getting more hands off.
Okay.
Like we had the thing with DePodesta, right? And everybody trying to guess, well, who's making the decisions? Like, what is a chief strategy officer? What does he have input on? Who has the ear to who? And we saw how things went. Last year when we heard DePodesta was out of the door. I think we finally got a chance to see what Andrew Barry could do when he has the freedom to. He had the best draft of his career. He's always been good at making deals and picking up kind of pieces through free agency. But the last 2 years, he's had the two best drafts of his tenure as GM. So it's like, it looks like Jimmy is finally starting to let the football people make football decisions. So from that standpoint, I mean, he ain't going anywhere. Let's put it like that. He's not going anywhere. Especially, we got the new stadium coming in 2029, and there's more than the stadium. He's basically building his own Jimmyville, because he owns everything around the stadium. Like, he's going to own the land that everything around that stadium is built on. The hotels, the shopping, the restaurants, own the stadium, right? So he's building. Forget Jerry's World. We thought that was a spectacle. He's literally going to own his own mini city, so he ain't going nowhere.
But I'm not even talking about it like that. Like, actually, billionaires usually have an uncanny ability to understand when they are making mistakes.
Yeah, and I think he's got to the point where he's realized that.
So I'm giving the Browns a little bit more credit than maybe they deserve at this moment. What I'm trying to get to is ultimately, all right, so he's building a new stadium, which means that there's a Super Bowl going to Cleveland soon. It's
probably 33 or 34 or some shit like that.
Yeah, this is going to be a domed
it's
environment. And listen, I love Cleveland. Like, I enjoy it. I feel that the people in Cleveland are very similar to the people in Philadelphia. It is a blue collar town. Those guys work really hard. They are fans to the nth degree. They want to see their teams win, and they don't get it, which makes it harder for the fans. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate that, being from Philadelphia and knowing that feeling. You know what I mean? So I get it 100%. I just, when I think about how a team is going through this, and, I remember the Bernie Kosar years, where I felt like that enemy number one of Cleveland was John Elway.
Yes.
He just could not get past him. And I was a fan of that. I remember when Johnson took Cleveland to the playoffs, and I made a lot of money on Cleveland that year because Cleveland was an underdog in every one of those games. I'll never forget that 8-0 game. I'll never forget it. It was pouring rain, and the over-under was like 45. And I remember turning to my buddy, I'm like, it's a monsoon over there. We need to put a lot of money on the under.
Yeah.
And it was 8-0. 8-0 was the end score of that game. They punted the ball. I think it was against Pittsburgh. They punted the ball. It stuck in the ground.
Yeah.
It was just like poof. I mean, I'll never forget it. But there were those times where Cleveland actually can show up, and when they show up, the energy in that city becomes electric, and it gets exciting. And I feel like this owner hasn't felt that yet. And the closest he got to it was, when he had
COVID year.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, okay.
COVID year when there were no fans allowed. So
right. Except it was the one chance I had to go to Cleveland because the Eagles played in Cleveland that year, and we lost that game. I remember that because they just started to let fans in there, and I was going to drive the 6 hours to get to the stadium, and I'm so glad I didn't because it would have, me all painted up, rain.
Oh yeah.
Then have to drive home. Would have just not been fun for me.
Yeah.
But I just look at how they've done things, and I wonder, are they smart enough to make, like I said, you're saying that he has to win the Super Bowl to really get to not be gone this year.
I don't know if he has to go that far, but he has to be in the championship game. He doesn't have to win it, but he has to be in it.
No, that ain't enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 2 draft picks in next year's draft, and it's also a look thing, right?
That's right.
It can't be him looking like Peyton Manning's last year in Denver, where he's the reason we don't lose, right? And you got Judkins and the rest of the offensive weapons carrying the load. Like he would have to be the reason.
And the truth of the matter is that if he was to go to a different team and sign for any reasonable amount of money for a quarterback, they'd wind up getting a compensatory 3rd-round pick. So it's worth it. Yeah. It's absolutely worth it for that to happen in that regards. And I know that Cleveland has stockpiled picks.
Yeah.
That this is, and they have been, I feel like that the GM most recently has understood that and is trying to build for the building. Like, hey, listen, when this new building opens up, do I expect that they're going to do good this year? No. I feel like that this is almost planned loss. And I don't want to say it like that, but it's almost, I feel like that they want to do it that way, that they get a great 1st-round pick. They start to stockpile more because I think they trade that pick away to get extra picks for the following years.
I mean, except that division's very winnable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that, but again, you have to have the full plan in effect. And if I'm the owner, and I know that, hey, listen, when we have it in, and it's 3 years away is a long time, but it's tomorrow. And ultimately,
as an owner, yes. As a coach, no. As a coach, you're fired.
Well, no. So, I mean, everybody's got to be on board here. You have to have everybody on board. And ultimately, you've had such a losing culture for so long that's what you're teaching here. You're teaching how to change culture. And changing culture doesn't necessarily have to come with the wins and losses or the wins. It just, you have to be able to address the losses in a more positive manner. And I feel like Cleveland hasn't done that. Cleveland has dwelled on the losses. And like I said, the Deshaun Watson trade was the epitome of that. Like, hey, now we got him, and what did we just do? And now you're sulking about it. Well, the sulk is over now. You're done. You've gone through it. You've dealt with it. It's over. It's time to move on. You've got an owner who's invested a lot of money into the city. He's gonna make a lot of money in the process. He's not he ain't giving that money away. He's going to take care of it. And listen, I mean, and there's a lot to do in Cleveland. You got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You got the new stadium coming. I mean, the flats are amazing down there. I've had, every time I've gone to Cleveland, I've had a great time. So I am a proponent of Cleveland. I just feel that if this is going by my thought process, a 3-year work where, okay, we're going to keep Sanders. We're doing that because we want to remain in the storylines, but not necessarily win. I feel like that's part of the. I feel like that's part of it.
You're not wrong. It's just the way you said it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then be ready for the new stadium.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. The pushback that I would give you is, I believe Jimmy Haslam believes this team can be more competitive than it was, and I believe he's right. Remember, this is a team that is not too far removed from the playoffs. A few years back, and a matter of fact, in that playoff season, we used 6 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
6 quarterbacks, and got to an 11-5 record. Should have had home field advantage in that playoff game. That's neither here nor there.
I mean, that defense was no joke.
Exactly, and that's my point. That's my point. You're talking about a team, and the defense is relatively still intact, if not improved slightly.
Yeah.
Overall, I know we traded Myles Garrett,
but I like Hurst.
No, but I think you got the better part of that deal, actually.
Right. But
as long as he remains happy, that's the hardest part there. Keeping him happy in a situation where he came from a winning franchise and now has gone to, arguably the biggest laughing stock in the NFL.
Yeah. So, but my point with that was, we still have a defense capable of carrying the team to victory. Like, we have the thing with the Ravens, Ray Lewis. Remember, they had a quarterback circus in there, and his thing to the quarterbacks was, "Give me 13 points, and we'll take care of the rest."
Yeah,
we have a defense capable of that. Dude, give us 20. Give us 20.
Yep,
we can get you 8 wins. So, if we get average quarterback play, and that's what I say, Bo. I mean, with the turmoil in the division, if we can get average, I'm not talking. If we can get whichever one, Sanders, Watson, to throw for freaking 3,100 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 picks, this defense can take us to 10-7 with our schedule.
So my question becomes now to that, where I hear what you're saying, but I think that's unrealistic. Think about it more.
3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns.
Well, no. I'm thinking you're going to need. I think the unrealistic part is the 8 interceptions. I think that you're going to need it more like 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns between the two of them, and 18 interceptions.
I mean, that's more likely, for sure.
And I think that becomes a little bit of. You're relying a lot more on the defense, but you're going to have to rely on them anyways. And you're going to have to sling it more. You're slinging it more because you're taking more chances.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have Quinshon Judkins, I would agree.
The defense is going to have to create opportunities because both those guys are going to throw picks. Like it's a thing.
Absolutely.
And I feel that you have to. Especially this year, I don't feel like you have all the pieces on the offense, which means that you are going to be doing a little bit of razzle-dazzle plays. That the best part of your playbook is going to be the last page or two now, because you almost have to create those unique adversions that, like, okay, we're going to set up in this weirdo, set because you just need to be able to confuse defenses enough to be able to get somebody open.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how this offense is going to work. It's going to be complete misdirection, and hopefully the quarterbacks are with it enough. As he runs away.
I'm still here.
No, I know. are with it enough to be able to not get misdirected themselves. Like, I feel like that this is all going to be smoke and mirrors for the offense if you want to create opportunities for you to be a team that could make the playoffs. I think anything beyond that, this team is, I said, I feel like that it's not even their fault that they're meant to lose right now. And that you're scheduling for winning in 2028 to open up the news for 2029 where you're actually fighting to have a playoff game.
Oh, poof, gone.
See, there he was running.
I did. Something's going on with Chrome. Had to switch it off.
I got you. And to answer Brad's question, because he fished it out to everybody. Outside of your team that you have your fandom for, what would your second team be? I don't really necessarily root for a second team. I've always appreciated the Ravens defense. So if there's another team that I like to see, now they don't have that same element that they used to, but I was always a fan of the Ravens D.
Man, who would be my second? It's probably be 49ers. I've already said 49ers were originally my favorite team when I was a kid, before you discover that hometown pride.
All right, that's fair.
I don't ever root for another team.
Well, that's why I said I don't root for one, but I appreciate some things about other teams, and that's why I said the Ravens. I appreciate their team.
A little echo, Bo.
Yeah, I think it's Bobby's mic.
Yeah, it could be, because I'd switch over to Safari.
But I do root for fan bases.
Sure.
That's how I choose when teams go on beyond the Eagles in the NFL. So, for instance, I was rooting for the Seahawks last year. I was rooting for the Broncos. I have friends that are Broncos fans. I don't have many friends that are New England fans, interestingly enough. I do have some friends that are Cleveland fans. It's so I understand. Big Willie and I go way back. You know what I mean? And I feel Big Willie's pain. I know what he deals with year in and year out. Yeah. And I'm also friends with Mascot Troy, who's a fan of the show, and knowing that he gets the best of Big Willie most of the time, and I have my cousin who is a Ravens fan, so I'm intimate with that division in ways that it's like, okay, it's I don't really care for any of those teams. I'm never going to root for them, but I am happy when my friends are happy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So far, I mean, and I know that you're in Vegas. The only parade that Vegas has had up to this point has been the
Aces,
Golden Knights, correct?
Yeah, we've had 4 parades there. Not the only 4. Okay. 3 from the Aces, 1 from the Golden Knights.
Yep.
Do the Aces bring out like the parade? Like
yeah, they've had 3. We celebrated all 3 of their chips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully one this year.
Not having any women's teams here, it's hard to like I said, I don't envision it the same, but I can imagine anytime that Vegas can have a parade, it's
they do
a production.
Yeah,
it's a production. You know what I mean? I got to imagine that it's.
The city is embraced. Their arena is sold out every night.
To be fair, the first Aces parade was not the best attended.
No, it was also like
it was like a Tuesday or something. Like
it was something new. Like they didn't know how to do it, but now that we've added 3 additional chips, we got it down pat.
Yeah, well, and you get to do them like in a row too. So you're like, okay, last year wasn't it? Let this year.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's so funny because, I mean, again, we know that the Golden Knights is a different scenario, and that the NHL had no idea what they were getting themselves into when they did that, and they were the lucky recipient of the fact that nobody knew what was going on. And you'll never ever see another franchise come into a sport like that ever again.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
That'll never happen.
They got
again.
smart. They got smart about it. I feel like they might have overcorrected a little bit for my Kraken, but that's what it is.
That being said, I feel like that women's sports out in Vegas will always do better than the men's sports because there's too much more sin to happen. Not to say that there isn't sin for women. I'm not saying that that's not like that either, but I feel like that there is more sin to happen for men than there is for women, and that women in sports can remain a lot more focused at the job at hand, at the task at hand, that men will.
Yeah, nah. Because at the end of the day, men and women, contrary to popular belief, we have the same desires, so it's equal. It's 50,
I get it. I get it.
It's 50-50.
But I got to imagine there's not as many gentle women clubs out there as there are gentlemen's clubs.
Yeah, really? They call them.
They just call them gentlemen's club. Who do you think half the people in there are?
Yeah, right.
I get it. I understand. Yeah, they have just clubs in general, and that's
the thing is if you're playing on those teams
most of the time.
If you're playing on those teams, like the strip wears you out, so you're not, once you live there, you're not going to be there all the time. Like there's going to be the random person that might be, but for the most part, most of your team is not out there partying. Like they'll do it when they first get there and then be like, yeah, like I'm exhausted. Let me go ahead and go back to like,
who was the quarterback in Seattle, and now he's the Jets quarterback?
Geno Smith.
He couldn't ever figure that out.
That's why I said there's the random one-offs, but for the most part, your roster is gonna be like, yeah, that was fun for a minute. Now I got stuff to do. Yeah. Whereas the teams visiting,
best home field advantage in every league. But I mean, from a fan standpoint, what you got to remember is, Vegas is a transient city.
Yes.
And so most of your residents aren't born and raised here. We're from somewhere else, and most of those people are sports depraved. Like when I first decided to move here permanently, the first thing after, because I always knew I was going to live here. And when I got here, the first thought I was like, man, it sucks. I'm like, I got to drive 3 hours to see an NBA game or NFL game. And then, teams start, hockey comes, and then WNBA comes, and now we got NFL. And it's like, I will go. I'm not a fan of the Raiders, but I will go to a Raiders game because I love going to live sporting events. Cool, I'm a Golden Knights fan. I am an Aces fan. When the A's get here, yes, I'm gonna go to A's games because I enjoy going to baseball games. I go to Aviator games, which is their I think AAA affiliate. So it's not even about being a fan. These stadiums are gonna stay full. So,
and listen, all you gotta do is start painting your face. We get your mohawk going, and you can
there we go.
The Vegas sports guy.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, I mean,
out here looking like Road Warrior Hawk.
Exactly. I'm Animal, you're Hawk. We do it.
Let's go. Now, even if you don't like the team, just because going to games is fun. Like if I moved to Portland for whatever reason, would I go to Ducks games? Sure. Would I be, low key hating on them the whole time? 100%.
That's the best part. That's the best part. Again, took my son. I mean, granted, it was the Browns versus Raiders, but man, down there had a blast with the Raider fans. My freaking son's making he's got two 44-year-old friends now.
Well, and
10-year-old kid just makes friends with everybody.
It's so much different than it was in Oakland.
Sure.
It's like the one thing that I am not a fan about with ownership of the Raiders is that he has no.
That one was
he care less about the black hole. He has he does not care about the black hole at all. And the black hole was the group that kept him afloat for a long time in Oakland. That they traveled from everywhere to go and support the Raiders. And then when they went to LA, they went to LA to support the Raiders. And now that they're in Vegas, they still travel into Vegas to support the Raiders. And that he just doesn't show the same respect back. Now, I mean, I out of all the owners in the NFL, he's the one that I can't stand the most. Starting with his barber and moving on down, just that entire process. It's like he's not his father. He never was his father. His feet are too small to ever walk any bit in his shoes. His father's shoes. His father was an owner in the NFL. You know what I mean? He was, just win, baby. Just, like those things. He did whatever he needed to do to win football games and to run an organization the way that made it iconic as the Raiders are. And his son is just, I feel like the longer he owns it, the more it's just sort of dropping off of that. It
goes from just win, baby, to just be okay.
And that the fans are the ones that are the ones that are keeping the Raiders as iconic as in the past, but it's still past. The Raiders aren't the same Raiders as they were before, and they don't have the same swagger. They don't. The black hole isn't a fearsome spot. It's like you were used to fear going into the black hole. You used to fear going into the dog pound. The dog pound itself, like it still has. Like if you go to the dog pound, obviously the world has changed. Nothing is as scary as it used to be.
Of course.
But, except coming into Philly for whatever reason, that still carries the same mantra as it did in the past. People are still afraid to come into Philadelphia. But it's not as scary as it used to be. Not by a long shot. I mean, this is not like going into the 700 level of Veterans Stadium wearing a Dallas Cowboys shirt and you had to fear for your life. This is a different world now.
Yeah,
but
you're still going to catch hands at a Niners game for whatever reason. Like,
you know what? And so the Niners, interestingly enough, I think about them as the worst fans in football. And the reason why I say it that way is because they are soccer fans that have become football fans, and they just don't know how to act. That's
well, I mean,
they are, and
those rings are old enough. You can't say that act like you've been there because they haven't been there.
Right. Right. And Niners fans from when Joe Montana was, there, and Steve Young, and Niners fans now are two different worlds. Again, two different worlds. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, I don't like it when the Niners come to town. There does create more fights. Half the time, they're fighting with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, that's the harder part of that is that they're fighting with themselves, and then somebody else says something. It's like, listen, I'm going to fight with my brother as much as I want. Don't you call my brother anything, because then we both turn on you.
Right.
But, it's, but I'm going to fight with my brother as much as I want. And that's kind of a little bit on how that is. I'm just not a fan. Like, there's a certain level of disrespect that I feel like comes from Niners fans. that is inherent when they go somewhere, that they play too much peacock with their chest burst out.
I mean, to be fair, like anytime I have to fly through San Fran, I am always wearing a Hawks jersey just to poke the bear every time, because it could be the most removed thing from football season. I'm like, oh, I got to fly through San Fran. Let's go.
Right, but you're not finding the traditional Niners fan at the airport.
So you are. The problem is there's TSA everywhere, so they can't do anything about it. They just get to be mad.
But well, I want to not just because it's a great question. Ikeson said, "Aren't teams seen as an investment instead of the love of the game in the city?" Honestly, it depends on the owner. Well, it depends on the owner.
Well, so many of them are going to ownership groups now, so it kind of is.
Yeah, but you hope you get the majority owner or whoever they decide to put it, at the head of the table. You hope you get a guy like Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban genuinely loved the game of basketball and loved the team. Yes. Jerry Jones. Yes, Jerry Jones is financially motivated, but Jerry Jones loves the Cowboys, loves football. So your hope is that you get an owner who actually loves some part of the game and just doesn't want to get invited to the club. Like Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam just wanted to get invited to the club. Dan Gilbert actually loves the city of Cleveland. Like he's invested more than the Cavaliers in the city of Cleveland. He helped bring casino. He's invested in building up downtown Cleveland. So your hope is just you get one of the guys who actually gives a damn.
So here's the problem I have with sports, and this is part of what's on the table in baseball, is that just because you own a professional franchise does not mean that you are guaranteed to make money.
Yes.
And that's the problem here, that everybody feels that because you own this, you are supposed to make money, that everything appreciates in this world. It's like, the Eagles were bought from Bremen for $360 million. And he made a lot of money on that. Like he tripled his money in the course of 8 years. It's now worth $5 billion.
Right.
So it's like the lorries will never sell. Right? I wouldn't, unless somebody's going to offer me $10 billion like they just did for the Seahawks.
Exactly.
The truth of the matter is that the Seahawks are worth at $3.5-4 billion now. In 10 years are going to be worth $15 billion. It's going to always appreciate. But that is not true with every sports franchise in the world. There are times that's the problem with baseball, is that people buy baseball teams because they think it's a football team, because they think they're getting the same growth as they are in football. And that's part of the issue. You have the Dodgers that are doing everything they can. Listen, there are tons of billionaires out there. And I say tons, I'm talking there are thousands of billionaires out there. There used to be tens. Now there's thousands of billionaires out there. And they know how to make money. So if you want to go to Kansas City, or I won't use Kansas City, if you want to go to Nashville and start a baseball team, which is what Dombrowski has been trying to do forever, you could bring $10 billion to the table and buy that franchise and start spending money and bringing guys in there. Wayne Izenga did it down in Florida. He bought one ring, and really he arbitrarily bought a second ring. And wound up with 2 rings because of it. Because he was smart enough to know what he was doing and took it to you. And it didn't matter. Didn't matter that nobody was showing up at the games. It didn't matter I wasn't making any money. I want to win, and I don't care how much it costs me. You have the guy at the Mets who's trying to do the same thing but can't figure it out. He is not as intelligent when it comes to that. But just because you own a franchise, and this is why I can't stand that they are allowing the A's to move to Vegas. This is why I have the biggest problem, because the cheapest owner in sports is the owner of the Athletics. And the team that's moved around more times than any other franchise in the world is the Athletics.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are just gifting him Vegas is a problem to me. I wish they would make him sell that team, because he doesn't deserve to make money, because he's chosen to be the guy that he is, and he's chosen to run the franchise the way he wants to, and that has not made him money, and that frustrates me because he doesn't deserve the money.
Yeah. Well said. Joe, Von Miller's 92 years old. No, but that was actually my first thought when I said, dude, he is 37, 38, but he'll be a good rotational player. I mean, last year we had 9 sacks for a 36-year-old. That's fantastic. Played every game, started 3. So as a rotational piece on that defense, I think he could have a solid year. He'll make some plays. He'll have a flashback Von Miller game. But really the key to that Cowboys defense is going to be your 2 guys in the middle, Keon Clark and Quentin Williams, shutting down the run. If they can do that, that defense will be vastly improved.
Well, and Pags and I were talking about it yesterday. You know, ideally he plays like 20% of the snaps.
Yeah. So
right,
20 to 25%. The more each percentage point that you go up above 25 is a percentage point he's less productive.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, and especially if you utilize guys in that way, I mean, the NFL has shown that. I mean, let's face it. He had 9 sacks last year, and he was playing something like 18% of the plays. Yep. So ultimately, when he was out there, he's fresh. He's, you're still dealing with everybody else that's out there. So now it's just another person that you are like have to try to pick up. And he's great on man-to-man against lesser opponents. You know, like I think about when I think about Von Miller going up against. So if he was to go up against Johnson against the Eagles, I feel Johnson beats him. If he goes up against Mailata, I think he's got a 50-50 chance. You know what I mean? It's just, right. And I feel that's just because Jordan Mailata is still young. He's big dude, can do a lot, has learned a lot, and is an amazing tackle. But experience will sometimes beat you. And that's where I say the 50-50 shot there against him. Against Johnson, I think that Von Miller's got no shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that Johnson shuts him down because they have the same experience level.
Exactly.
Right. And so ultimately, anybody less than those guys, though, and I think that's the best comparison I can make because, like I said, although Mailata is an all-pro tackle, he just doesn't have all the experience level. And he's not Trent Williams. Trent Williams he's going to have a field day on Von Miller. You know what I mean? Von Miller you're not gonna hear his name,
right?
When it would come to Trent Williams. So I look at that as it's a smart pickup for them. It's something that is going to fill up. He's going to eat minutes. He's going to take up plays, and he's going to be a force when he's out there. And against teams like the Giants, against teams like the Commanders, and other teams that against the NFC South or AFC South is, that's going to be simple. It's going to be great day. It's going to be great days for him, as long as he's only paying 20%. If they have to rely on him more, it's going to take away from his production.
Yeah, it's that law of diminishing returns is the.
I could also see him getting a boost like the first 4 or 5 games of the season, just on the strength of he's always wanted to be a Cowboy, right? So
sure,
just that kind of You know, wanting to make his presence felt in a Cowboys uniform.
I can see that. Get that rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, words are hard again.
Rejuvenation. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. As soon as it started coming, I was like, man, that's just not coming out of my mouth today, I guess.
Words are hard on Tuesday.
Words are hard. Yes, they are. But at least it's live in front of people. So that's
there
cool.
You go.
Man, I love it. So before we get out of here, we do got to talk a little bit of baseball because that still exists in the world, and not for my Mariners so much, but in general. And it's funny because we're starting to see umpires ignoring calls, like ignoring ABS challenges, and we're seeing New York weirdly somehow call the wrong play with video evidence. But then you do have the umps that are like this, that
for Jazz Chisholm today.
Called. But it's interesting if you watch where they miss these.
Call's been changed to a ball.
So and he was right.
Let's mute that. So this is where it's tough for the ABS for me. So as we watch this, these are all missing to that same spot.
Mm-hmm.
For both teams, right? Now, obviously, it's going against the ump here, but he lines up on the left side of the catcher, and that corner would be an expanded strike zone through the course of history, and it's consistent for both teams. So this is where ABS, you're just like, I mean, everyone had the same strike zone. It just happened that it was a little bit expanded. ABS. Obviously is making those overturned, and it looks bad for the ump, but realistically, through the course of history, that would have been a consistent strike zone for both teams. I wouldn't have been mad at that, really.
Yeah, this should have been like a cartoon thing where, like, after the fifth one, somebody should have just walked out and, like, scooted him over a half an inch that way. Like, okay, now you're the best ump in the league.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, because he's lined up on the left side and he's missing to the low and right, it's the part of the plate he can't really see the edge of clean, right? So there is a little bit of guessing on the bottom of that. So I don't know. Like he gets barbecued for it. I put the video out.
I don't think that you barbecue him for that. What I do have a problem with is that female umpire who's having she is creating issues because I think she's a female, and I feel like that she's starting to say no, you didn't do it fast enough, and she's like
a lot dismissing,
of that. and she has been she's like listed as one of the worst umpires out there. And I understand you're a brand new umpire. You are a woman in this game, and there's a lot of respect that you have to catch yourself up on. But the only way that you're going to earn that respect is by doing the right thing. Don't say, oh, when you make the call, the guy went down because he thought it was a walk. She makes the call, he taps, and she goes, well, you didn't do it fast enough. What do you mean I didn't do it fast enough? You made the call. After you made the call, I tapped, but that wasn't fast enough because I was too busy already, ready to take the walk. And it was like 4 centimeters out.
Yeah.
It's like listen, you're going to get more respect by understanding that you make mistakes and you accept the responsibility for the mistakes.
We got to get you a padded desk.
That's where things are going to. You're going to get that level of respect from these players.
Yeah.
Listen, these umpires have been making mistakes for hundreds of years.
Of course,
for over 100 years they've been making mistakes.
Yeah.
You aren't doing anything different, but don't create more of an issue by thinking that you can be above the game because of your ego, because you are the first woman umpire. I appreciate the fact that all of the energy and the time and the desire and the fortitude to become that first woman umpire. I understand that there's been a lot of flack that you have taken up to that point to get to this point. You know what I mean? So I have respect for everything that you've done to this point. But now that you're here, you have to understand that, listen, there's going to be times when you're going to make mistakes, and it's okay. It's all right. You know, everybody makes mistakes. Own those mistakes, and you are going to get the respect. I mean, it's funny when the umpires, like, they made the call and then he's apologizing to the batter. You know, that's funny to me. Don't apologize. Never apologize. Listen, I didn't try to miss it. I'm trying to give it my 100%. That's why I can't ever, if a guy is giving his 100% out in the field and he misses a play, you don't apologize to me. Don't ever apologize. You're trying your hardest. That's part of what it's about. Sometimes your hardest isn't good enough. And especially when we're playing, like if you're playing on my team, we're playing in the rec league. So we aren't getting paid for any of this. You know,
still trying to win though.
Yeah, absolutely.
We win in the best way, in the hardest way possible. So we're going to give our very, very best.
Sure.
You know, and if our very best isn't good enough, then, you know, I get it. You know what I mean? That's part of life, but you don't ever have to apologize to me. And I feel like the same way with the umpires. You don't ever have to apologize. I understand sometimes it's kind of funny. It's just like, oh, sorry about that one. You know what I mean? But it's, you know,
I mean,
ultimately
it can de-escalate some feelings that are happening in that batter's box, though.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you know what? That one's on me. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and when he's making the same call over and over and over and over again, and they're tapping, at least now they understand. You know what I mean? Okay, this is the spot that you are having a challenge with. He understands it too. You know, he knows he's calling the same strike. He's being consistent with his call.
He is.
And they are being consistent with the tap, and it's okay. Listen, that is what the ABS is for.
Exactly.
That specifically is what this ABS is for.
Well, and he was actually good about it, because again, he missed 20 calls in that game, which I mean that's a lot. But at least he was acknowledging the tap every time. It's not unique to, you know, the one that you were talking about. It's all over the place where they're not paying attention to the tap or not, you know, giving them the tap. There was one that somebody yelled something from the dugout. It was called away. He tapped, but because the ump heard something from the dugout, he turned, didn't see him tap, and then was like, "You were late." And he's like, "But I wasn't. You just didn't look at me." Like, and then,
but the moment that the dugout shouldn't do that either, because they know the moment that the dugout makes the noise, the umpire looks that way, then the tap doesn't count, because you're not allowed to be told to tap from the dugout.
So it wasn't hit. See, that's the thing. It was
the other team.
Dugout.
That's a great strategy. Bravo.
Exactly. No. It was smart, right? Be like, you know what? He got it wrong, and it's gonna stand.
So but you deal with that sometimes, and ultimately, I feel like that this is going to expand a little bit. I mean, this is going to start to expand. I think that they are going to give, you know, like I said, I don't mind that the ump missed 20 calls.
Well, I don't mind this one for sure, because he was consistent about it.
Yeah.
And because of the way he stands and where they were, I wasn't mad at it at all.
Right. It's just okay. Everybody's doing it. And you're adding a couple of seconds to the game. It's not a big deal. This is part of this. That's part of what's going on here. I mean, I don't know that I'm ready for them all to be called balls and strikes by the robots. But we are getting closer to it. We're getting much closer.
You need a 3D. You need a 3D plate for that. Like, they need to add a few more cameras so you can have a 3D plate. That way, if you have a trailing breaking ball or something that comes back across instead of the flat plane that it currently is.
So and I don't know that they'll get a full 3D. But my question becomes, do you put two squares? Do you put a square in the front and the square in the back?
Yeah.
And that's your because you're not going to. I don't think that you could create the 3D. Again, I don't know. You know what I mean? Obviously, technology is so much better than what we perceive. But ultimately, if you had a square in the front and a square in the back, and it hits the square in the front and then it trails out, is that the case? Or I don't know what's the right answer here.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it can travel across the plate at any spot, the ABS is lacking in that way because it's literally just one cross section. And if you have some wicked movement, it could absolutely miss where that is set up.
So, but I look at this, I go back to wiffle ball, which is kind of where they put this. And in wiffle ball, you got the board in the back, and that's it. That's it.
Well, yeah, it has to end up there. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how it gets there, as long as it hits that board, it's a strike. End of story. And that's kind of what I'm kind of getting at here is that, like, is it I don't know that you need I think that's just what it is. It's just like you have to stick with that one answer and say, okay, if we're going to play with the board in the back, then that's it. I think if you put a board in the front and a board in the back, it gets into the strike zone in the top corner of the front square and trails out so far out because it's a wicked curve.
Yeah, but that would still be a strike because it just has to hit the corner of the plate.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No, as long as it hits a corner of the plate, it's a strike.
Yeah, so I don't like that idea. I don't like that. I mean,
that's how it's.
That's the
Like that's the game.
I hear you. It's a matter of how it comes across the plate, not touching the black on the outskirts of the front of the plate and then hoping that we see it. An umpire's not going to see that and would never have called that a strike. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they do though.
Not. I'm telling you, a curveball that touches the black parts of the front part of the plate, and trails away, is not called a strike.
But it can be. Like
it can be, but it's most umpires' eyes aren't able to pick that type of stuff up that close. And that's part of the issue. I think that, like I said, if we're going to go by that, then you got to go with the board in the back. This is the wiffle ball version.
Frankie bringing the hate this morning.
Yeah, that's a strike. That is, you're talking about that's what, 1.5 centimeters? Yeah,
I mean, sure.
Neither here nor there. There's other things.
We're not there yet, so it doesn't matter. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you can bet on whether or not we get there with the QR code on the screen. That being said, we do got to get out of here, man. It's a good thing this is my only show today. Just fumbling the words all around. If you're watching on every platform, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. And of course, if you're listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Of course, Bobby G, we'll see you next week. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.